Previously in Gifts for Crocheters. You can leave it there, but sometimes I'm a little bit extra. Ow. So next project is gonna be a yarn ball that is gonna avoid our ball to be crawling everywhere while we are knitting or crocheting. So the idea is to have a ball that looks something like this, but with more than one hole in it, so that we can place more than one yarn colors, you know? And there are actually several ways to tackle this. You can even do just two heavy objects that will hold a stick in between that is going to be horizontal, and then the yarn have to pierce it. But I think the ball option is going to be cuter and actually better for a gift. And for that, we're gonna be using air dry clay, which is a medium that is very affordable, but you really need to know how to work with it. Otherwise, it's gonna be cracky and it's gonna look a little bit, you know, like a toddler craft. So yeah, a ball with few holes in it and something that looks cute. That's what we are gonna try to make. And we need to have our slip ready and the clay and a working space that is gonna be easy to clean afterwards. So let's start. I was looking for round things so that we can trace our shape in a paper and more or less guide ourselves with that reference. So this is our reference, and now there are two ways to tackle this. If we don't have a roller, we can use a method that is called coils, that basically you have to roll the clay, make a thin coil, and go around this shape until you have the height that you want. That's basically the method. And if you have a roller and something like this, basically two planks or two objects that are the same height that you can place in here and place the clay and roll this way so that it's all the same height, like the same thickness all over the piece, and then cut. In this case, if we're gonna do a circle, it will be a rectangle that then we can attach to a base. But have in mind, this last method is not gonna have round or curved edges. In the other one, it can have these curved edges. So that's up to you. You can decide your method here. The quickest one, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be the one that has like a full rectangle sheet and sheet, and then you can go around. Now, which one do I want to do?
One eternity later.
I think I'm gonna keep this project beginner friendly, let's say, and stay with the, I look for the name, and it's called officially Slab Building in clay. So yeah, let's do it. To make this project a little bit quicker, I thought about doing this, and it's connecting two pencils that are the height that we, well, the width that we want our clay piece to be, because otherwise with this wooden sheets I would have to be like moving them along the rectangle, and that's gonna be a little bit more tricky. I made all the calculations already so that we know the length of the rectangle, which is the circumference of our circle. Okay, so yeah, the circle, it's gonna be this size, so we're gonna use this as a template, and the other just measure it and cut it after. And this is the way to store our clay. I'm gonna be using white clay, but there is other colors that they sell. There is terracotta, there is gray clay, that it's kind of stone looking at the once it's dry. But in this case, I'm gonna be using white, that I think it's gonna be the best option for painting after. And this is the way to store it, in a plastic bag, and then I like to wrap it in a cloth that it's wet, so that it keeps the humidity and it doesn't dry. And I also am gonna protect this beautiful sweater. So wait 1 second. Start cutting a piece of clay. Okay, now it fits. So we just have to mark around it. And cut. Try to keep the blade straight, don't angle it. And now smooth the edges with some water. So our base is ready, and now we need to settle it aside. But to avoid it drying before placing the rectangle, let's cover it with a cloth. And this is quite self-explanatory, so I'll let you enjoy the process. So now it's time to make our textures, or what I was thinking is doing a lip so that I can make a hole that it's the mouth, and through there the yarn comes out. Now, we need different holes. So I was thinking, my biologist side, I guess, was thinking, okay, so I'm gonna start with the digestive system with the lips, and I need more holes. So what if I do the lips and the butthole? That's what I thought. Now, it can be fun. I mean, if you don't want to do it, maybe just do several lips, or I don't know. I've seen also this type of thing where it's the nose and it's like bugus coming out. I mean, you can make this as creative as you want, as weird or ridiculous, I guess, as you want, or even like if you want to make it simple, just make the ball and maybe do some textures with a pen. Like, you can adapt it to your liking and to your experience level, I would say. But I want to have fun with it, so I think I'm gonna go for the beginning and end of the digestive system. Let's get things done. Start applying the slip and place a chunk of clay that you will shape later. Remove the excess clay and shape it with tools or fingers. I have all my slabs ready and wet, so I can assemble all together. To attach the pieces together, use the slip, okay? Make some cuttings, or not cuttings, but like marks in the clay, and go on top of the marks with the slip. With a little spatula, try connecting both pieces. Use clay coils to help you secure the unions. Always remember applying a slip before joining the pieces. Start shaping the butt cheeks and cut the base following the line.
The next day.
I kept working on the piece, but at this stage you won't be able to make any big structural changes. Now, we need to make the holes. Also have in mind that when it dries, it shrinks a little, okay? I don't know exactly. In ceramics, I know it's like 1 centimeter less. And what you do need to have in mind is to cover it so that it doesn't dry fast. If it dries fast, it will crack. Don't be in a rush with this project. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop touching it. And yeah, so if there is any imperfection later, when it's dry, we can sand it a little. But I wouldn't recommend it. So if you could smooth it now with a little bit of water or slip, good. Yeah, I'm gonna stop touching it. I think... Okay, yeah. I know. Remember to cut your nails. I'm gonna wrap it in this. It's been 5 days since I did this, and it's still not dry. And you see it's not dry because the color is not the same, in my case, white, in all the piece. If you see here down, the color, it's like bone white, I would say. More beige. And on the top, that is where it started drying first, it's more cotton white. I'm inventing tones here, but yeah. Also, the feeling is not the same. When it's completely dry, it doesn't feel cold. Now, if I touch here at the bottom, it feels cold. Okay, so that's another trick. And I just wanted to say, well, now it's already too late because the part here is already dry, but when it holds the shape and it doesn't deform, it doesn't change form anymore, you can, with a spoon, you can start closing the pores and making it smooth, you know? But this is optional, you don't have to do it. And just know that if you do this, probably if you're gonna apply paint afterwards or varnish, it's gonna be harder for it to stick to the piece. So this you decide, honestly. We need to wait a few more days till this is dry, and I'll come back to it. So in the meantime, I'm gonna let you know, guys, that I got this finally back from the studio. This hand that I did with clay. In this case, it's real clay in terms that it's fired in the kiln. In this case, at about 1,100 degrees Celsius, so pretty hot. And the problem is that I brought it yesterday, and it's missing a finger because I broke it, basically. Not intentionally, obviously. But yeah, and to solve this issue, I'm gonna be gluing it and see if that way it's problem fixed, you know? And yeah, this hand took me around 1 month to make it. It's basically my hand, because I didn't have any other reference. And I must admit that it feels weird to touch it, in the sense that it feels like my hand. Like, I don't know, when I grab it, it kind of feels like I'm grabbing my other hand, but it's really not, because I'm not feeling it, so it's kind of weird. But I really like it. So that's done. It needs to dry. And another good news I have is that I got this knitting needles from my grandma. You know, they had a rough time, so I need to fix them, but they are totally usable. I still don't know how, but I will in the future. So yeah, hopefully some attempting knitting projects in the future. I just know that you hold this in your armpit and then you do like this. Kind of orthopedic in comparison with the little crochet needle, but yeah. I'm very excited to try this because I've heard is more difficult than in crochet, because you have to do some calculations, but still don't know anything about that world that I'm going to jump into. So yeah, wish me luck. We have our piece finally dry. You need to make sure that it's completely dry in all the bits of it. It's the same color, and it's touching it. It feels not cold, because otherwise it means that it's not ready yet. So yeah, it took me like 7 days, and I was waiting for 3 more days to really make sure that it was dry. So whenever you are in this step, you can go ahead and paint your piece, or like I'm gonna do, varnish it. Varnish will prevent the piece from getting damaged when in contact with water, but it's still not food safe. Our piece is finished, and like the varnish is all dry and everything, and it turned out way better than expected, honestly. Like, it was in my mind, but the fact that I was able to actually make it and make something decent blew my mind. Anyway, remember that you can always make another design that you kind of like more or whatever, but remember following the instructions I gave you, because I didn't have any problems, no cracks, no anything. So for me, it worked out perfectly. Yeah. I really like it because it's at the same time weird, weird, and like fun and useful. Like I really like it. So I encourage you to do it. And yeah. So if you like it, please show me, and if you do it, please share with me in social media. See you soon. Bye.